Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great day, and yesterday I talked about the energy pistol as well as the Maelstrom LMG. If you want to know some info on those two weapons, then you can go ahead and check out my previous video, but today we're going to be going over the Nemesis AR and what its special ability could be. And these leaks are once again coming from Thornton Smash, so of course links to him are in the description below. As you can see based on the screenshot I'm showing up on screen right now, the Nemesis AR seems to have some sort of ability similar to what we have with the Rampage. Now this raises a lot of questions, and the questions go from what are going to be used to charge this thing up to what this ability could actually do. But first off, I'll give you my predictions on what the fire rate and damage of this thing is going to be. So currently when it comes to energy weapons, all of the energy weapons we have so far have a pretty freaking fast fire rate. The Havoc, the L-Star, and the Volt all shoot pretty fast, and then of course we have the Triple Take. Now we do know from a previous leak that this is actually a burst AR, meaning it's probably going to work similarly to the Hemlock. Now how many bullets is it going to shoot in one burst? Well, we really have no idea, but the fact that it is a burst weapon gives us a lot to work with when it comes to figuring out what the ability is, but I'll go over that in a second. If it is a burst energy weapon, then it should have a decent amount of recoil, and I'm guessing it's probably going to have damage similar to the Hemlock. Now an important thing to remember is that Respawn likes to keep their weapons varied. For example, many might say that the G7 Scout and the 3030 Repeater are basically copies of each other, but they each have their own unique qualities and they have their own traits. This is going to be a very similar thing, and in my opinion, since we currently only have a 5-round burst weapon, which is the Prowler, and a 3-round burst weapon, which is the Hemlock, then I think the Nemesis AR would fit snugly in the middle and have a 4-round burst. I think that would be a very cool thing to add, as simply having another 3-round burst weapon would make it kind of repetitive. And since Respawn likes to make every single legend and every single weapon unique, well, in my opinion, this makes a lot of sense. Now, if the weapon does end up having a 4-round burst instead of a 3-round burst, then the damage should be a little bit lower than the Hemlock, so I'm guessing it's probably going to be 18 or 19 damage per bullet. And as for the magazine size, well, I'm guessing it's most likely going to be the same. The maximum magazine size is probably going to be something around 30 bullets. I don't really see this weapon going too far beyond 30 bullets, and I don't really see it dropping too far below 30. Now, let's move on to what the ability could be for this weapon. We've always had people wanting a full auto mode for the Hemlock, whether or not that comes in the form of a hop-up or if you can simply choose that as a firing option. Well, now I believe this is Respawn's way of saying that they've heard these requests, but I do think there are two possibilities for what the ability could be. So the first idea is that once you charge up the Nemesis, it might turn the weapon to full auto for that one magazine. Now the cooldown bar should work the exact same way as the Rampage, where the cooldown starts to go down from the moment you shoot your first bullet or after a designated amount of time, and once that bar runs out, well then the weapon goes from full auto back to burst mode. I do think this would be a pretty cool feature to add into the game, as we really haven't seen something like this in Apex before. The closest thing we've had was the Prowler and the Select Fire turning the Prowler into a full auto weapon, and with that being said, the second idea for this ability is also based on the Select Fire, and in this case I think it could do something similar to the Havoc. So instead of turning this weapon from burst to full auto, I think it's possible it could turn the 4-round burst into one single beam. Probably going to be something similar to what the Havoc had when you could apply the Select Fire hop-up on it. It basically shot one beam of energy at the enemy, and I do think this ability could work in the same way. Now something we do have to keep in mind when it comes to this ability is that it's basically the exact same thing as the Havoc with the Select Fire. This means that if they do introduce the Select Fire back into the game, well then either both the Nemesis and the Havoc are going to have a similar ability, or the Havoc just won't be able to use the Select Fire at all. Anyways, there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Nemesis AR and how I think it could work. Let me know in the comments below what ideas you have, and if you have any suggestions, I'm definitely open to see them. Alright, that's enough talk from me. Brothers and sisters, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.